Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my YouTube channel. All right, I've been watching the news way too much as of late. I've been watching way too much YouTube. So, just want to do this video, kind of get your guys' take on what's going on out there. And it also gives me an opportunity to show you some of the world's largest coin. Look at this sucker. Woo-wee. And look, did you guys know they made a special mercury dime in 1916? I mean, I know Ikes are supposed to be big, but these are freaking huge, man. This is probably the nicest one. This is the Standard Liberty quarter. Although we're never used to seeing it with this much detail because usually his face or her face is smeared and usually the date's completely worn, especially if you're trying to find junk silver out there. And then here we have the Indian cent. 1877 is probably a key date. Not really sure. Don't really collect Indian cents. But very cool design. Again, these look weird to me because these are usually really worn. You can barely make out the feathers on the Indian. Oh, and thank you for whoever just bought this coin. I've got to ship it out. Right before I posted my video, I checked on eBay and I had actually sold this coin. So this is a really, really nice, beautiful coin. A little harder to find date as well. So thank you so much. And of course, I got to show the Panama Pill. We got to do some Panama Pill comparisons. So here's the Panama Pill, which looks like a battery. And then here's the here's that Ike. But this is a real coin, guys. This one's so cool. It's so little. 1904. And did you know we actually made these in Philadelphia for Panama? What is this? Look, it's 90% silver. How many of these would it take to get a full ounce of silver? I don't know where the silver junk silver prices are going. Like, what are some places charge like 30 times face, which is like almost 42 dollars an ounce silver. Pretty soon these numismatics are going to look cheap. But on a serious note, guys, I really think that it's getting to the point where if you're going to stack like constitutional, let's say you have to have constitutional silver. I got you covered, man. I got silver quarter proofs that 90% silver. Some of these I got for like 8, $9. So, that's at least it's shiny. It's cool looking. It's not a piece of worn out junk that you can't find. But anyways, I was kind of wondering, like, has junk silver ever reached this high of a price before? And does that naturally affect the collectible or numismatic coins? And I guess I wanted to ask some of the older folks in the chat or in the comments if you've ever seen this before, where junk silver is literally on sale at 25 times face. Does that make the numismatic or semi-numismatic stuff just naturally bump up in value, or are like Morgan silver dollars, peace dollars, 40% silver, stuff that's in slabs, like does that all that stuff kind of hold steady, or does that also go up in value? I haven't really been seeing. I mean, I've seen a natural increase of the Morgan silver dollars, like automatically go up in 2021 with the release of the modern stuff. But I strongly believe once the reverse proofs come out, and if we have $30 an ounce silver at the time, and let's say the U.S. Mint has to jack up the price of their UNC, let's say their UNC non-reverse proof, but let's say the regular UNC Morgans and peace dollars that they're releasing this year, let's say they got to ask like 95 or 100, and then maybe on the reverse proof they got to like jack it up to $1.25 or more, just because let's say spot at the time is close to over 30 or 35. Is that going to make these like Morgan silver dollars and peace dollars, like the numismatic older vintage ones, are these going to then explode in value? I guess they already exploded when silver was already popular in 2021 when these came out. Obviously, we knew it was going to be a popular series because they all sold out really, really fast. And the only one I really personally liked were the 2021 Peace Dollars. I thought all the Morgans, and I still think all the new 2021 Morgans look like absolute boring poop. Like I've seen other mints make Morgan silver rounds nicer than that really flat looking 2021 Morgan. And I think some of you guys would agree. And there was a surprise with the Denver Mint Mark. I remember everyone was complaining that they look so horrible. They're really badly minted. And turns out now a mint state 70 and a slab is like upwards $600-700. The coin's still ugly, but people still want it because you can't get them in state 70. So I get it. Like I get that collector part of it, but I have a feeling like Morgan silver dollars are going to continually go up this year. So will the Peace Dollar, especially when the release in the U.S. Mint, because that's really the only thing that anyone's really talking about. No one's talking about the new design quarters. I guess there's some military commems and things like that that came out. Everyone's complaining that there's not enough silver eagles or gold eagles being made by the US Mint, and platinum eagles. They're also like limiting what they're making, which is strange, right? Like you have an all-time high demand and the US Mint's like, yeah, we don't care. And we're not going to be on the news. And no one's really talking about it. Like nobody cares. Like don't order your stuff from us. And then all the bullion dealers are like, yeah, if you want to order stuff from us, the minimum purchase is $500. Not SD Bullion as of yesterday because they lowered it to 250, but at Max, it's like I have their app, and I would get some like surprise things where I almost like clicked on it and bought it because it was like, hey, we got a special this afternoon. You know, if you want to get these silver coins for $22. This was prior to March 9th last month. And I thought it was cool. Like, wow, if I really wanted that silver round, I could have clicked on it. And then I probably would have bought $200 worth to get free shipping. And I don't get charged tax in my state. But now it's like, oh, if they send me a cool coin, I got to buy $500 worth. It's kind of like a slap in the face. But I guess it's, people complain about it, but also, you buy $10 face. Let's say you buy $20 face of junk silver. Dude, that's $500 right now. That's like totally insane. And it's hard for me to comprehend that because I didn't even want to buy junk silver when it was like 17 times face at Monument Metals March 8th. Like I was hemming and hawing about that. I'm like, that's still like, a little bit over spot, whereas like at the time, like silver rounds were 22 when silver, I think, was back then like 20. So there was like, we got to a point where there's like a $2 premium on a silver round, and now it's like $5 is on sale for like the absolute ugly ones. So anyways, I did buy some silver yesterday. I don't know, I found some like seller on eBay that was just like, is weird. He was like listing stuff like every 5 minutes. I could tell like he was in the process of listing. So every time he listed a silver coin with a capsule for $30 with free shipping, I would just buy it. But I wouldn't buy it unless I thought I could resell it for like 40 to 45 or like 38, 39. Because I've done that before. I bought a lot of silver at its peak and then like it dropped a little, and then I was like, okay, great, now what do? I literally like put 2-3 grand in silver. And again, this is a reselling mindset, not a stacker mindset. So don't worry about you stackers. Like you guys keep stacking, it doesn't matter. But I was buying it to resell, and I'm like, man, silver's gonna keep going up and up and up, and it didn't, and it came down. And then I would go to the coin shop and they would give me like $26 for an American Silver Eagle that was a backdate and was nice. It was BU. And it was like just stupid. So I kind of have been through that cycle like 2 or 3 times. And this time around, I'm a little more cautious. But I did pick up 12 1-ounce coins. And they are like the semi-numismatic kind. And I'll have those listed as soon as I get those this week. But I didn't go crazy. Like I didn't go buy, 50, 60, 70 ounces. I'd rather find these like Morgan silver dollars and share them with you. I know they're a little slower sellers, but people can appreciate them when they get them. They can send them in to get graded. it's a really cool thing. I don't know why I bought these. I just thought they were cool. I think one of my guys I was buying coins from at the time like had I think it was like one of the coin resellers. I forgot the name of the company, but they had these like listed. They just like listed them recently with their newer Morgan listing. So I'm like, I grabbed a couple of their Morgans, some of their graded ones, and then they had these like listed for $8, I think. And I'm like, or maybe they had like make me an offer on something like this. And these, I guess, normally go for, or they can go for like $20, but I guess they're, I don't know. I just thought they were cool. So now I'm like, man, I'm gonna collect these if they're only, if I can get them for like less than $10. I want to get one of every single coin. And it's weird. Like this one weighs. I'm gonna weigh these. Probably can't see it on the scale. 73.9, and then this Ike is lighter. Yeah, it's 49.2. So it's weird. Like this has more metal, whatever cheap metal. It reminds me of this. Reminds me of like the metal that die-cast Hot Wheels or Matchbox used to be made out of, and then this is like the pot metal that they somewhat use later on, or when you're making like a cheaper toy. So this is like the good metal, and this is weird. Like this is like half the weight, and I think yeah, these all weigh different. So this one's like a little. This one's like in between the two, but some of them like look pretty cool. Like this looks pretty realistic. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Not that I ever like go live or have auctions, but I'd be like, hey, do you want this big giant coin? Check this out, guys. I thought that would just be something cool to look at. This actually weighs quite a bit. It's not made out of gold. Man, if it was, it'd be cool. This weighs the most. This one's 90 grams. So should I bring that to my coin shop and be like, hey man, I got a really special gold coin for you. It's 90 grams of fake gold. But I don't know if I'll like sell this kind of stuff because I think it's just kind of like pop art for coins. I just thought they were cool. I mean, literally, it's like this is my sticker round, and it's like the same diameter. I thought that was pretty cool. So maybe they use these for like to put your coffee on or something back in the day. I don't know, and I can't like find any information on these. I know there's some like resellers at eBay that have like random one of these. Like I found someone that was selling the Shield nickel, and they're selling them for like $7. They had like 8 left. So I'm like, yeah, I'll order a Shield nickel for $7. So I don't know. Is this kind of nerdy? Like ordering fake giant coasters that are made out of metal. I thought they were cool. So. But anyways, I guess what this like silver thing, it's kind of like becoming sort of an awakening. So like this, for example, so this is a Japanese. So the Japan took over like some of the islands, and they're like, all right, you're gonna use this money. We're gonna take all your silver and gold that you don't hide, because their coins, I'm sure, on the island at the time were made out of silver. There might have not been a lot of gold there, but Japan came in and was like, no, you're gonna use this. This is $10, and it's got bananas on it, so they call this banana money. And maybe this 10 banana dollars got you, a dozen eggs, and then they kept printing more and more and more of this, where sooner or later you needed 100 of these to buy a dozen eggs with inflation or whatever. So this stuff is cool and collectible to remind us of back in the day, and these are in really nice condition. I think I'm asking like $10 for these. I got a list in my store, but it's really no value. You can't take this to Japan. They won't recognize it as $10. And there's no silver content in it. And it's literally just a piece of paper saying it's worth $10. Kind of reminds me of something else. And I have other examples too. So I have, these are Belgium. And in 1943, Germany took over Belgium. And they're like, yeah, don't use don't use those silver coins that you guys have. Um, don't worry about the silver, the copper coins, the gold coins you guys have. Just use this stuff. And they made this stuff in Munich or Berlin, probably at the time. And these are made out of zinc. Zinc is like the most toxic metal if you burn it, so it's not like people could burn these and turn them into something. They're just like, yeah, use this. This is 25 cents. So maybe this bought you something in Belgium. That was like your change. But like if you used your silver, let's say you had let's say this is a Belgium. I actually do have real Belgium silver. I'm too lazy to bust it out, but hold on, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna use like a real life back in the day history example. All right, so we're gonna do pretend transaction. So let's say I'm in Belgium and I'm buying this ultra rare, cool Christmas cat ornament that's handmade by an artist, and he wants uh, he wants he wants let's say one and a half. Let's say he wants 1.5 francs. So I'm like, yo, here's a 2 francs. 2 franc Belgian piece that's actually made out of real silver. It's from 1867. But again, this is like 1942, so no one's really collecting coins back then. Everyone they want a cool one Christmas ornament for their tree, or let's say they want to buy some eggs and milk. They're getting a whole bunch of stuff. So you use this 2 franc coin because you're in Belgium. It's made out of silver. I think the silver content on this too is over 90%. And maybe that's something we're going to have to start stacking here in the US is foreign silver. Because our constitutional junk silver is ridiculous. But anyways, like you use this 2 francs, and then like the merchant then says, all right, well, here's your cat and your eggs and your milk, and then here's your change. Like, they hand you a bunch of zinc, and then like you're looking at this money. First of all, your country just got taken over by another country, so you're looking at this money as a person back then and be like, okay, I just handed you silver, which is universally real. And again, silver was not worth a lot back in 1942. But you don't care. You want your ornament, you want your eggs, you want your milk, your whatever you're getting, and then the merchant hands you back zinc. So, like, how would that make you feel? Like, dude, you just gave this guy silver. Yeah, you got some stuff out of it. Now that merchant can take this silver and, if he was smart, he would have just stored the silver and tried to get rid of all that zinc stuff that the Germans brought in at the time, and then, hide this stuff away because this is actually real money. And this stuff is basically toxic waste because if you light it on fire and try and melt it, it creates a gas that can kill you. So don't, so that's the other thing too, guys. Like, don't light pennies on fire, the new ones here in the United States, because they're made out of zinc, and the fumes you can get really sick or die from it. So don't do that. But anyways, it's kind of interesting how what has occurred, back then during times of war and desperate measures is that going on now? Like, what do we get here? Does anything that we get from our paychecks, our tax refunds, a lot of it like is no longer in a coin, right? Or it's basically this stuff. They're like, here you go. You did a real hard job today, so this is your pay. Here's some paper. Or you know what? This paper is starting to cost us too much to make. And these coins are costing too much. Let's just make it virtual. Let's just say you have this X amount of dollars sitting in your account. So I don't know if you guys have ever done this. I know I've done this a few times. This was a while ago too. This was like 10 years ago. I made a purchase locally for another older gentleman who was moving to Florida and he wanted to get rid of one of his cars. It was a nice 540i and I wanted to buy it and I wanted to flip it because my father was working at the BMW dealer at the time and I knew what a good BMW looked like. He was able to look up the history of the vehicle, all this good stuff. So I simply wanted to buy this 5 Series with lower miles. The guy said his kid did drive it around. They did, did have a little hit in the back. Wasn't perfect, but when I saw it, it was a great looking car. So I'm like, well, here's what I have on me. I had like, a couple $1,000 cash. I used that as a deposit. And then I'm like, I'll go to the bank. I'll see you the next day. Like, I'll go to work, are you in a hurry? Like, do you need the cash? And I was like, no, you can come by this weekend to pick up the car. I'll have it all ready for you and washed and detailed or whatever. I was like, cool. So I go to my bank and I'm like, yeah, I want some of my money. So I'm like, I want $8,000 or I forgot what it was. Maybe it was less than that. I was like, maybe I needed like 7 grand. I forgot what I even bought the car for. And I never had gone in the bank and asked them for 7 grand, but I didn't think it would be a big deal. And again, this was like 10 years ago. So I go to the bank and they're like, yeah, we can't just give you $7,000 cash. And I'm like, why not? My account says I have plenty, right? And they're like, no, you gotta like place an order. I'm like, what do you mean place an order? Like, yeah, you have to place an order for that kind of cash. We don't, we only keep a certain amount to do transactions here. But I'm like, yeah, this is a bank though, so you should have $7,000 in cash. It's like not even that much money if you're a bank. So long story short, they're like, well, we can't give that to you here, but there's another bank in the next town over that we just called and they have that cash, so you can go get it. But just for future reference, you have to call ahead and order your money. So that was over 10 years ago. So that's when I was in my mid 30s, and that kind of woke me up too. It's like, man, like what you have in the bank is nice, but if you needed it that day, dude, you're not gonna get it. So there is something to be said about. This is a really bad example, but there is something to be said about this stuff, right? Now, this is a fake, made up coin, but there is something to be said about the Bitcoin and all other stuff, even though they've gotten terrible news, and there's been a lot of scams involved around that. And again, you can only convert it into something, and you can only use it to buy something if that merchant is willing to take it as payment. So it's all relative, but I just found it was really interesting that I couldn't just pull the cash out at the time. It was very or eye-opening at the time per se. But long story short, I did end up getting a vehicle. I drove around for a little bit, made a little bit of profit, but I was like, man, never again. Like, I'm never gonna be in that position. And then one other story, this was during the pandemic. I did have a client and he needed to go to the bank to get his trust documentation to prove that he was on the trust. So it had to do with real estate. And he was a truck driver. And this again was right like maybe 3-4 months into the pandemic. And he kept his trust documentation like you're supposed to in a safety deposit box at the bank. And I'm on the phone with him because, again, he's a driver and he wanted to make sure he was asking for the correct documentation. So I'm like, yeah, just put me on the phone. So he calls me and he's swearing like up and down. He's like, yeah, they won't even let me in to my own freaking safety deposit box. He's like, I'm in the drive-thru and I'm like listening to the teller talk to him. And the teller's like, yeah, sir, you got to come back. You got to make an appointment. You can come back Thursday and make an appointment. He's like, I don't understand. I'm here right now. You're here right now in the bank. Just let me in to the bank. Let me into my safety deposit box. I have to grab a form. He's like, I don't even need the original of the form. I just need to take photos of it, or I need you to scan it and give me a copy of what's in my safe deposit box. And I'm like, sorry, sir, we can't go in your safe deposit box without you being in here, and you have to make an appointment. It was like super ridiculous. So it was almost like even though there's a teller there and there's someone in there, they were only allowing people in one at a time, and you had to make appointments. And no one was in the bank at the time either. So that was another eye-opening moment of mine where it's like, wow, maybe stuff in a safety deposit box is not that safe. And it's kind of sad too, right? Because you pay for that privilege for them to hold your stuff. So I'm really strong into, if you really don't have or own anything unless you actually possess it and it's in your possession, or you know where it is and you can easily get to it. So I don't know. I am discouraged with the price of silver. It is pretty annoying when I'm trying to resell it and give people good deals, but maybe a good deal now is $35, $38. I don't think people are blinking an eye on it because it truly is worth more than that when more and more people start awakening to it. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And again, I'll put a link to my eBay store. I do sell silver. It's mainly nicer stuff though, so it's definitely numismatic. But I'll do a separate video. I'll do an unboxing because all 12 silver coins and rounds I got coming in are all different and cool. They each have a little story behind them. So that'll be fun to share with you guys. But hopefully you didn't mind my little story today. If you guys have any stories like that, or if you guys have a channel, I think now is the time to kind of share that information with others and help people wake up, especially our youth. They are absolutely clueless. And I was pretty clueless too until I started getting back into this again 3 years later, or 3 years ago. But when I was 10 years old, my grandpa brought me to that coin shop. There was something inside of me that loved the Morgan design. And to me, it was weird. Like, I'm 10 years old, right? But it felt like real money. It didn't feel like when Grandpa handed me $5, I went got some quarters or tokens to play video games. Like, that was fun money. But when I got like this stuff in my hand, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And to me, that's like really, really true money. And he didn't have to explain it to me. He just handed it to me. I'm at the coin shop with him. I wish I would have bought a lot of silver back then. It was only $4 an ounce, and I could have got 1986 American Silver Eagles for like $5. That would be cool to have, a monster box of those. But no one was doing that back then. And if they were dealers and they were doing it to resell. But yeah, I just wish I would have stacked more when I was 10. And that was not that long ago. It's literally 30 years ago. Would have had a lot more wealth. All the other good stuff. So anyways, appreciate you guys listening to my story. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.